Assalamualaikum and a very great day to all. My name is Azian and I will be one of the reporters. Today, the hottest topic in Malaysia are inflation problem and unemployment rate in this country. As we are all aware of, Malaysia is known for its capital city of Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia's population is projected to trend around 33.80 million in 2022 according to our econometric models. Malaysia is also popular for its mixed races living together harmoniously with 67.4% Bumiputra, 24.6% Chinese, 7.3% Indians, and 0.7% others. Do we really know what does Malaysia import or export to talk about inflation? Malaysia's main exports are 36% of electrical and electronics products, 7.1% of chemicals, 7% of petroleum products, 6% of liquefied natural gas, and 5.1% of palm oil. Malaysia's main imports are 29.4% of electrical and electronic products, 9.5% of the chemicals, 9.3% of petroleum products, and 8.7% of machinery, appliances, and parts. According to the World Bank, Malaysia is an upper middle income country. The manufacturing sector, including electronics, has emerged as the leading economic sector, followed by agriculture, livestock, forestry, fisheries, retailing, and hospitality sectors. For everyone's knowledge, gross domestic product (GDP) is the standard measure of the value added created through the production of goods and services in a country during a certain period. The economy of Malaysia is the third largest in Southeast Asia in terms of GDP per capita and the 34th largest in the world according to the International Monetary Fund. What is the GDP forecast for 2022? The Non-Partisan Congressional Budget Office estimates GDP will grow 3.1% in 2022, it said in a Wednesday report.
Hi, I'm Wan Muhammad Ikram Birobani, reporting on inflation in Malaysia. After we had detailed research, I would like to discuss the analysis of Malaysia's inflation rate. Based on the data we collected from 2011 to 2021, it shows that the inflation rate in 2011 was 3.17%. However, the inflation rate experienced decrease to the value of 1.66% in 2012. In 2013, the inflation rate increased to 2.11%. The inflation rate increased after this year, reaching a high of 3.14% in 2014. However, for the two consecutive years, the inflation rate drops to 2.1% and 2.08% in 2015 and 2016. The inflation rate spiked in 2017 to reach 3.8%, which was the highest inflation rate that took place during the specified years. However, for the two consecutive years in 2018 and 2019, the inflation rate remained low as at 0.97% and 0.66% respectively. For the year 2020, inflation rate faced a decline, ending the year 2020 at negative 1.14%. For the year 2021, the inflation rate increased to 2.48%. Next, I will explain about inflation occur in Malaysia. In the year 2022, Malaysia has facing cost push inflation. This inflation, also known as wage push inflation, occurs when overall prices increases due to the increases in the cost of wages and raw materials. Higher costs of production can decrease the amount of total production in the economy. Since the demand for goods hasn't changed, the price increases from production are passed on to consumers, creating cost push inflation. Referring to the Consumer Price Index on March 2022 on a monthly basis, the March 2022 CPI increased 0.3% compared to February 2022. As we can see nowadays, food inflation is the major contributor for inflation in Malaysia. The 4.0% in the food and non-alcoholic beverage group was largely due to an increase in the food at home component. Both housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels index, as well as the alcoholic beverage and tobacco index, increased marginally by 0.1%. Moreover, education registered an increase of 0.2%. Next is restaurants and hotels increased 0.3%. Miscellaneous goods and services also grew by 0.8%. In the other hand, furnishing household equipment, health, transport, recreation, services and culture had also contributed to the overall CPI.
As for your information, I would like to share about a few of unemployment problems. First of all, the definition of unemployment is where everyone from 18 to 64 years old that should working, but because of some reason related to the economic, they are not working. There are four types of unemployment. Firstly, frictional unemployment, which occur when people are in between jobs or are entering the labor force. Secondly, cyclical unemployment, which occurs when there is a lack of jobs, resulting from a downswing in a businesses and economy. Next, structural unemployment, which rises due to structural changes in economy of the country. Last but not least, seasonal unemployment, which rises due to a seasonal variation in the activities of particular industry. Related to Malaysia, situation is cyclical unemployment. During the pandemic of COVID-19, their economy fell down as at its worst. There are many businesses that have been shut down. With that, the unemployment rate in Malaysia rose up due to the shutdown of business in Malaysia. The effect of unemployment on individuals and society is loss of their income. Because got fired due to the workplace company closed up. Other than that, they also will lose their job skill due to the unemployment. So much of me has to do with unemployment.
Intervening too early would lead to higher debt and we will miss the opportunity for reforms. But if the government is too slow to fight inflation overshoot, rising prices will consume growth and lead to stagflation. Whether we like it or not, we must tolerate inflation. The real question is whether or not Malaysia is able or willing to accept inflation. If yes, at what level? And if not, there can be no economic reset. So how can we solve inflation problem in our beloved country? First, for people who need to face this problem, you have to do investment. Investing the cash flow you have outside of your emergency fund is one way to keep up with or even outpace inflation, says Samuel Dean, founder of Dean's Wealth Management, a financial planning firm. When you see rising interest rates, a falling stock market, or ballooning inflation, it can cause you to second guess yourself. But a good diverse investment plan should be set up from the start to deal with ups and downs. You shouldn't let these things distract you, Dean says. While you want to pay attention to what's going on, investing for the long term is key. Secondly, supply-side policies of inflation is caused by persistent uncompetitiveness and rising costs. Supply-side policies may enable the economy to become more competitive and help to moderate inflationary pressures. For example, more flexible hour markets may help reduce inflationary pressure. However, supply-side policies can take a long time and cannot deal with inflation caused by rising demand. Lastly, monetarism. Monetarism seeks to control inflation by controlling the money supply. Monetarists believe there is a strong link between the money supply and inflation. If you can control the growth of the money supply, then you should be able to bring inflation under control. Monetarists would stress these policies, which are higher interest rates, known as tightening monetary policy, reducing budget deficit, known as deflationary fiscal policy, and control of money being created by the government.
What government should do in order to overcome the unemployment rate in Malaysia? Firstly, the government must raise the salary rate paid to employees in the country as a matter of fact. Why this is important? It is necessary due to the rising cost of living, which is not suitable to the salary rate offered. For instance, when the government increases the salary rate, people can afford the cost of living and indirectly satisfy the market needs in terms of demand and supplies, since they can afford to have what they want and what they need. Otherwise, if the salary rate offered is low, people definitely have the perception that working hard to earn little salary is not worth it, since they can barely afford the cost of living with their minimum salary earned. This is why most of them prefer to be unemployed. Therefore, government should increase the salary rate offered in order to overcome the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Secondly, the government should immediately reduce the number of foreign workers hired in the country to provide more job opportunities for the locals to work in the job sectors. This is due to the fact that now we can see those foreign workers have dominant job opportunities in this country. As an outcome, our locals will have to compete with these foreign employees for jobs, despite the fact that they might have snatched the jobs from our people in the first place. Therefore, the government should pay attention to this matter and take steps to prevent it from spreading even bigger. Thirdly, the government needs to provide additional skill classes or courses towards the public in order to provide people with job opportunities based on the skills that they have. For example, the government can provide skills classes or courses such as cooking, carpentry, sewing, computer programs, and so on to the people so that they can find job opportunities in accordance with the skills that they have acquired. Lastly, our government should produce more graduates that are able to fit to meet current market demand. Why? The reason is simply because they will certainly use the skills that they have to generate their own income. For example, because the world is currently growing rapidly with technological advance, therefore companies are becoming more competitive and looking for capable employees, especially in the technology-related industry. As a result, these graduates with the technology knowledge will use their skills by apply job in the wanted industry. Therefore, their skills will not be wasted by becoming unemployed. In conclusion, the government must take action by acting as the party in charge of solving the issues of inflation as well as the unemployment rate in Malaysia. If this problem is not resolved sooner, it will likely cause substantial problems in the economy and country, especially for the following generations who will be made to suffer the consequences of the government's action today. That's all from UiTM News. Until see you again next time.